Otherwise, if you don't have a block, you can roll up a blanket. Just so you have a little bit of a cushion to go underneath your shoulder blades. And we're going to start in a supported fish, just as our opening pose. So the block would go horizontal. You could also put one underneath your head or a pillow there. You can go this way or this way. Doesn't really matter, but on the lowest level. And then the same for the blanket. They'll go right underneath your shoulder blades. And you'll just kind of lie down. You can have your hands behind your head. If you want a big heart opener, or maybe out to the sides or on your belly. And if it feels like too much on your neck, you can prop up your head with whatever works. And I love starting here because it's such a counter to how we're spending our day, especially if we're working at a desk or driving a car or whatever you have going on for that first half of your day. It's pretty much, okay, let's go the opposite. Catherine, I'm going to mute you really quick, just so we don't have any background noise. And yeah, bend your knees, point them up towards the ceiling, and kind of use that as a way to adjust the positioning of the block or the blanket underneath your shoulder blades until you find that perfect fit, that like Goldilocks feels not too hard, not too soft. And then close your eyes, soften your jaw, maybe soften any gripping in the hands or muscular engagement in the legs or shoulders or core. And just sort of arrive. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, just imagine your body, yourself, just landing where you are right now. Start to find a little bit more separation from whatever was just happening in your day or work day, whatever was on the computer before now. Each breath, we acknowledge, we honor it, but each exhale, kind of loosen our grip on it. And that comes easy some days it's much harder. No judgment. Just make that your intention maybe for the next 45, 50 minutes, or if you have another one, start to find it, cultivate it, embody it with these next few breaths in through the nose, filling up into that heart space that's nice and open now, even if it feels intense. And then open your mouth, exhale, let it go. And then do that again. Big breath in through your nose. Letting the chest fill, the belly fill. Open the mouth and let it go. All the way empty, and then fill up one more time like that, maybe reaching the fingertips away from you a little bit further. Pressing into the feet. Floating the heart up, and then as you exhale, open the mouth, let it go. At the bottom of that breath, seal the lips. Get really empty and then constrict the back of your throat, finding your first Ujjayi inhale slowly. So that constriction helps temper the breath or lengthen the amount of time it takes to inhale fully. We'll find that same thing on the exhale. Little constriction, sound like waves crashing on a beach. Maybe add a count of 4 or 5 to the inhale and the exhale these next couple rounds. It's really testing the capacity of your lungs. We're not testing it, but just exploring it. Take one more inhale slowly, count of 5. This time when you get to the top, try to hold for that same count, and then exhale and hold at the bottom of the breath when you're empty. With this next breath, find that same constriction, but let the hands float up off the ground. So really reaching to your max width. And then let the arms come up behind you towards the top edge of your mat. Interlace your hands or fingers and then turn your palms towards the back of the room. Lengthen your tailbone towards the heels by pressing into the feet. On an exhale, release the hands. Interlock the arms, left elbow underneath the right, little eagle arm variation. As you inhale, press into the feet and reach your fingertips back. And then as you exhale, knit the front ribs, pull those elbows down, maybe enough that the head lifts just slightly. Inhale, go back, lower, and reach the fingertips towards the back wall. One more time. This side. Exhale, push into the feet, curl up just a little. This time on your way down, unravel your arms, get really big again, maybe reach the fingertips behind you. And then we'll cross the other way. So left arm on the bottom, or whatever side we didn't do, right arm on the bottom. Inhale, reach back. Opening the heart. As you exhale, curl, opening the back of the heart. So opening the front and then opening the back. One more time. Exhale, slow and lift. With your breath, unravel your arms, get really big again, stretch. And then we'll roll off to one side. Let's go to the left side. So take your knees over to the left slowly, and then roll your shoulders. You can move anything that's underneath your head or your back. And then come to lie on that left shoulder. You can take a block or that blanket in between your knees if you like something to squeeze onto or it feels better for the lower back. And then start to reach your right hand past your left fingertips as you inhale and draw a big circle around you as you exhale. So opening that whole side body, shoulder area, just a couple circles. Use your left hand as a little anchor so that you don't roll too much around. And each time you go, try to get a little bit broader in circumference with that circle. Take one or two more. Reaching, using the breath to extend longer, using the squeeze of that block or both knees together to counter the right hip sliding back. And eventually we'll land in a full supine twist. So the right hand reaches over towards the right side of the room, palm facing up. Left hand on the thigh or open as well. Big breath in, lengthening your right side body. Exhale, soften deeper into your twist. Take one more breath into this whole right lung, diaphragm. As you exhale, squeeze onto that block or press both knees together and start to come up to center. Inhale, reach your arms back once you get there. And before we go to the other side, we'll do a little core integration. So right from here, start to press your lower back into the mat. I shouldn't be able to slide anything underneath you there. Take a breath. And then as you exhale, draw your elbows towards your knees or towards that block, or maybe hands behind your head. And we're just going to stay here and breathe. Just 3 rounds. Inhaling, make a little bit of space for your breath. And then as you exhale, squeeze in a little bit tighter. Squeeze. Last inhale. Exhale, squeeze and lift. And then slowly lower the head and shoulders. Take your knees to the right. And your shoulder will follow off my mat. And then your left hand is going to reach a little bit past the right fingertips on this side. Start to draw that circle. 5 rounds. A little bit. Wow. 5 big circles. And you can play with rotating that hand up and down, just kind of finding whatever spiral your shoulder, the whole inner medial line of the arm is enjoying today, or needing today, maybe. On your last one, or on round number 5, we'll just land in the twist. Press both knees together onto that block. to pull your left hip back on top of the right. And if that shoulder is floating, see if you can soften the spine a little bit. So kind of round just enough that the shoulder can come to the ground. Take one more breath in here. And then as you exhale, squeeze that block, press both backs of the palms into the ground, and lift your knees towards the ceiling. We'll do that same thing again. So as you inhale, reach back with your arms, that same core integration. Get back on my mat. And then as you exhale, knit the ribs, press the lower back down, and bring your hands behind your head or your elbows to your thighs. We've got 3 breaths again. Inhale, make a little space for your breath. And then as you exhale, squeeze in. One more breath. Full inhale. Exhale, squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift, squeeze and lift. Slowly lower with your inhale. Lower the feet, lower the hands. Exhale, press into your feet and lift your hips. Open those hip flexors. Take a breath right into the space between your shoulder blades, like it's coming up or into your lungs right from there. And then as you exhale, hug your heels towards your hips or shoulders. Reach your knees forwards, and then slowly lower one vertebrae at a time. Okay, let's do that one more time. Inhale, let the heart float up just a little bit. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. And then as you exhale, push into the feet. Curl your tailbone up and lift. Inhale into the back of the heart so that the ribs are now higher than the hips. Exhale, magnetize heels to glutes or heels to shoulders. Take one more breath. Exhale, pull your heels towards your hips to lower one vertebrae at a time. Once your hips are on the ground, take a little windshield wiper side to side, just once or twice. And then before we come to a seat, we'll take our knees to the chest, and if you want, you can happy baby for a moment. Pretty big pose for the beginning of class, but if you're craving it, go for it. Otherwise, just make some circles here on the sacrum, the lower back. One more breath. And then we'll grab behind the thighs. And instead of rocking back and then rocking forward, you can do that if you need to, but first try this. Try to just press your thighs into your hands, knit those front ribs, squeeze everything towards your center, and just see if you can get up. So using counter, tension, resistance to lift. And it's okay if you need momentum too. Oh, looks like we've got someone else joining us. So we're in, oops, she left, sorry. So we're in boat pose here, hands behind the thighs, knees bent, or you can straighten them out. Is she coming back now? Option to turn the palms to face up. Press your big toe mounds against one another. So when I say that, I mean like you're squeezing a block between those 2 big toes. And then imagine someone has a string on your heart. As you inhale, gently pull it forward. Exhale, stay. Big breath in, get a little taller. Cross your ankles and make your way to tabletop. Hands on the ground, shoulders over your wrists, fingers spread really nice and wide. Knees under the hips. Tuck your toes as you inhale, find cows, and let the belly lower towards the ground. Magnetize your wrists towards your knees, lift your gaze. And then as you exhale, press the tops of the feet onto the ground and the hands, and round your spine towards the ceiling. Do that again as you inhale, going back and forth. Maybe adding a little rock as you inhale towards the heels. Exhale, round and lean towards the fingertips. Little spinal waves. Close your eyes. Just let it feel good here. Let your spine and your breath lead the way. Just kind of get out of their way. Goal here is to feel good, not to look a certain way or anything like that. Take one more round. Inhale to cow, tuck your toes, wrap the elbows back towards your knees, micro bend, lift the chin. And then as you exhale, untuck your toes, push and round, but lean back enough so that you can lift up onto your fingertips. Take a breath here, even though it's super compact. And then as you exhale, push even more. Imagine you're squeezing that block between your thighs again. Get really high up in the upper back. And then with your inhale, lengthen back out, walk your hands forward, puppy pose. So now we're expanding. We came from really tight, and now we're opening up. Chest melts towards the ground. You can stay on your fingertips or flatten the palms and lower the elbows. As you inhale, press your thumb side of your hands onto the ground, almost like you're trying to stretch your mat underneath your hands a little bit wider. And then as you exhale, wrap everything back in. So there's kind of this, this spiral out as you inhale, and then this wrapping in as you exhale. So almost like cat and cow in our puppy pose. Take that a couple more breaths. Inhale, pressing into the thumbs, pushing out. Exhale, wrapping in, maybe knit the ribs, round. Last time, inhale. This time, take your gaze forwards if you can, even if you need to come out of it a little bit. And then lower your elbows and bring your thumb points to touch. We're going to come towards forearm plank from here. So shift your shoulders forwards. You can keep the knees on the ground if you want, if you're looking for a little bit less spice today. Otherwise, take a breath, tuck your toes. And then as you exhale, easy does it, lift the knees. Hips are in line with your shoulders. You inhale, think about lengthening from the top of your head back to the heels. And then as you exhale, pull everything together. So maybe micro bend the knees a little bit so you have access to that core strength. Hug the elbows towards one another. Take one more breath. And then find that same hug, but start to lower your hips for 3. Exhale for 2. Inhale when your hips are on the ground. Open your throat. Maybe even lift the elbows here, a little cobra, sphinx moment. Find a pull with your hands. So wherever you are, even if your elbows are on the ground, start to pull your hands back. Take them wide and slowly lower onto your belly. Once you get there, take your hands out to the sides of your mat or even off the mat. Externally rotate the fingertips, lift the elbows, wide cobra. Take an inhale at the bottom. Breathe your belly button into the ground. And then as you exhale, knit the front ribs, engage the core, and start to lift up to that cobra. Inhale at the top. Anchor the feet and lower as you exhale, engaging the core at the bottom of that breath so that you can lift again. Inhale at the top. Exhale, pull down. A couple more times with your breath, undulating, letting the head come last. Add the shoulder dips if you like. Once you're even, take one more to the center. Slowly lower until the point where you no longer need to use your hands. Bring your feet towards one another a little bit more. Take an inhale, not at your highest cobra, so kind of lower so you can lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, get back up into it. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull a little higher. Lift your feet if you can for 3. Lengthen the back of the neck for 2. Inhale, plant the hands. Exhale, push up to tabletop or high plank. And we'll make our way to downward facing dog from there. Pedal the feet once you get there. Shake the head, yes and no. Spread the fingers nice and wide, just like you did before in tabletop. And then press all 10 of your fingertips into the ground. As you inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes. And then as you exhale, soften your knees and try to lengthen your hamstrings and your spine. Don't worry too much about the heels. Take 2 more breaths here, kind of opening up that back body however you need to. Your next inhale, find that same press away that you did in puppy pose. So hands press out and up, feet press out and back. Then as you exhale, pull everything back together. Inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes, push. Exhale, bend the knees, pull, look forward. As you inhale, shift your shoulders over your wrists, like you're looking over the edge of a little cliff. Push the ground away. And then as you exhale, start to walk your feet towards your hands. Notice my knees are bent a little bit different. Take an inhale to a halfway lift. And then as you exhale, fold. Find your first ragdoll. Grab opposite elbows. Take the feet a little bit wider than normal, about hips width distance. I forgot hair tie today. Sway side to side. Take big breaths here. Spread your toes the same way that you spread your fingers. And if you're holding your head up like I am to keep my AirPods in, take a moment to really let it go. Let your whole spine decompress. Take one more breath in here. Big belly inhale, and then open your mouth, exhale, let it go, hang a little deeper into the fold. Bend your knees. And bend them enough that you find this ability to push, the sensation of pushing your feet into the ground. If your knees are super straight, you won't be able to find it. So bend them so you can actually push, and you can feel if they're working if you want to touch your hamstrings, your glutes. And then start to push so much into the ground that everything else starts to lift. That's the action that's happening here, is pushing. It's a grounding or a grounded way to come to standing. And then find your mountain pose, Samastitihi, hands at heart center. Spread your toes, micro bend the knees just enough that you can still keep a little bit of that sensation or engagement of pushing your feet into the ground. Use that to lengthen all the way up through the spine, through the neck. Close your eyes. Come back to your intention, back to your breath, back to your center. And we'll move into our sun salutation A practice. But first, let's take a big breath together. At the bottom of your exhale, just pause. Slowly inhale, visualize your whole self just expanding out in all directions. Then as you exhale, integrate everything back in, dial it back in. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. Good. Nice and tall, big opening. And then as you exhale, close and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, open. Exhale, fold and close. Plant your hands, bend your knees. Lean forward while you step back to plank. So lean forward with your head, step your feet back. Take a breath to push the ground away. Option to lower the knees here. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows. Find that pull, lower halfway. Inhale, push back up, squeeze. Exhale, lower down halfway. This time go into cobra or upward facing dog with your breath. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dogs. You can always pass through child's pose on the way there if you need to. 3 breaths in down dog. Oops. These angles I'm not good at. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, integrating. Let the head hang. On your next breath, lift up onto your tiptoes. As you exhale, bend your knees, look forward. And this time you can travel to the top of the mat however you want to. You can walk long, slow steps, opening the hamstrings. Or you can hop. Once you get there, take your halfway lift with your breath. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Find the ability to push into the ground as you rise up. Inhale. Maybe go into a back bend if you have more space to breathe. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe this will work. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Start your travel back towards plank pose. Inhale, shift like you're looking over a cliff. Exhale, chaturanga. Knees can be on the ground. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, push the ground away. Make your way to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Find that ujjayi, that warrior's breath. Last one. Inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Travel to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, rise up by pushing the ground away from you. Reach up as high as you can with your breath. Exhale, Samasthiti. Hands at heart center. This time as you inhale, we'll let the hips lower down, chair pose, arms reach up. Try not to let the knees go forward as much as you can. As you exhale, find integration with the ground. So press your feet, almost like you're trying to push them away from one another, but they obviously don't move because your mat is gripping your feet down. And then anchor your big toes and think about wrapping your sit bones towards one another. So much happening in the legs. Take one more breath. Exhale, forward fold, dive it down. As you inhale, take your halfway lift again. Get lighter in your left foot. You can have blocks underneath your hands here if you need. And take a big step back to low lunge. Go ahead and lower your back knee. As you inhale, press down into the ground to lift up Anjaneyasana. Untuck your back toes if you can. Take an inhale, get a little taller through the side bodies. And then as you exhale, pull with your front leg. So pull your hips forward. Take another inhale, get taller. And then do that again, pull. On your next inhale, let your hands sweep down and let your hips go back. So almost like you're folding forward. As you exhale, push into that left shin, scoop your tailbone under and reach up. Do that again one more time. Inhale, sweep down, sits bones go up kind of like cow. And then as you exhale, push into the shin, scoop your tailbone, reach up. Inhale, stay here, get a little taller, keep all of that activation. And then on your exhale, find a twist. So push into the left shin, reach your left arm forward, your right hand back, lengthen through the back of your neck. Hot twist, take one more breath in. As you exhale, left hand comes down. Tuck your back toes. The option to go ahead and lift that knee, or if you want a quad stretch more, reach for your back foot. If you're in the low lunge, let your head lean back and try to pull the shoulder blades together, engage the glutes. Wherever you are, meet, or if you're in that quad stretch, meet us here, release the back foot, tuck your toes, lift the knee. Take an inhale, get a little lighter on your left fingertips. And then wide-legged forward fold from here. Rotate your feet towards the long left side of your mat. Hang your head, find a little sway. Anchor down through both edges of the feet. Spread the toes. Micro bend your knees just a little bit so you can tilt your pelvis more towards the ceiling, or your sits bones more towards the ceiling. With your next inhale, find that halfway lift. Externally rotate your feet just a little bit, and we'll go Skandasana side to side. Don't have to stay on one side too long. Just open those hips. You can use your hands. You don't have to go so low that your heel needs to lift off the ground. So we want to kind of cut ourselves off at the point where the heel would need to lift in order for us to go lower. That way, we're staying in our mobility. The ankle likes to help us cheat. So if I lift my heel, I'm no longer feeling it as much in my hip. And we have a target for this pose to open the hip. Good. The next time you're on the right side, go ahead and quarter turn back towards the top of your mat. Micro bend your back knee. Rise up with your inhale. As you exhale, sink a little bit lower, hovering that back knee off the ground for 3, for 2, Next breath, push down, open up to warrior two, lower your back heel. Still can't see all of me. Ground down through both feet. Reach through both middle fingertips. And then as you exhale, we integrate it back in. Inhale, expand out. Roll the shoulder heads back. Exhale, pull in. Flip the front palm, exalted warrior. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the inside of your right foot. Lift your back heel so you can lower that knee. A little moment in lizard. I like to do these little push-ups. You can explore whatever you need to. You can roll onto the pinky edge of that right foot, get into the outer hip, or push more into the big toe for the inner. Then take one more breath. Exhale, tuck the back toes, lift your knee, lean forward, look over that edge again, and then step the back foot to meet the front. Both feet are outside of the hands. Externally rotate your toes. Inhale to a little halfway lift, and then Malasana squat as you exhale. Hips come in between the heels. And same rule, we don't want to go so far that we have to lift the heels because that takes it out of our hips. Try to spread your toes. Try to find that same activation of pushing into the ground. Maybe hands at heart center. Sometimes it's nice to just hold the edges of your mat or sit on a block. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Draw the tips of the ears up. Shoulder blades towards one another behind your back. Take one more breath. And then start to push into the ground so much that you can spill into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on the inhale. Hips low, arms reach up. Exhale, Samastitihi, come to standing. One breath in chair, go right back into it. Other side. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, so you can take a big step back with that right foot. Lower the back knee. And then rise up, Anjaneyasana. Take a breath to get a little taller. Remember, and then as you exhale, pull with that front foot. Shoulder heads back, gaze up. Inhale, push down. Exhale, pull. With your next breath, let your hips go back, your heart goes forward. Push into the shin as you exhale, and now you scoop the tailbone and reach up. Inhale, swing back. Exhale, pull forward, reach up. Stay for the inhale, push down through that right shin. Open into your twist as you exhale. Inhale, lengthen all the way up through the back of the neck. One more exhale, stay by pushing and reaching, twisting. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, right hand down. Left arm can reach for that back foot if you want it. Otherwise, we go right into that strong twisted lunge, dragonfly. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, push into the right hand so much that you can spiral your right eye towards the ceiling. Get a little lighter in your right hand. Take one more breath. And then wide-legged forward fold towards the long right edge of your mat. You can interlace the hands behind the back or grab the big toes. Couple more breaths here. With your next inhale, press into the feet, find a halfway lift, externally rotate your feet, and then Skandasana, side to side, just once or twice. The next time you go to the left, go ahead and frame that front foot, lift your back heel. So left foot forward, right foot back, micro bend your knee, and then rise up with the inhale, crescent lunge. Take a breath. And then hover that back knee. So lower it down. Still find that pull from the front heel to the back toes. Lean into the fire of it. And then inhale, push down. Open up, warrior two. Every inhale, lengthen the side bodies. Every exhale, integrate, pull back in. Inhale, reach from fingertip to fingertip. Open the heart. Exhale, pull the feet towards one another. Flip your front palm. Exalt your warrior. Stay for the breath. Just get a little bit longer in that left side. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Inside the left foot. Lift your back heel. Lower your back knee. Lizard. Getting into those hips a little bit more before you go back to your desk. When you're ready, instead of stepping forward this time, we're going to take our vinyasa. So both hands down. Step your left foot back. You can lower the knees. Keep them lifted. Shift forward. Lower down on your exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your big toes to touch. Inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Travel to the top of your mat. Halfway lift with your breath. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees so you can push to lift on your breath. Exhale, Samastitihi. Close the eyes. Breathe. Start to root a little bit more into your left foot. And then when you're ready, start to lift the right heel, coming into tree pose. Slide the toes up the shin. Start to find external rotation of the thigh. You can stop right at the calf, or if you want, go a little higher. You can also keep that right big toe on the ground. You can open your eyes, or if you feel comfortable or adventurous, play with closing the left eye, then pressing down through the left big toe a little more, and then closing the right eye. Find a connection, a pressure point between your right foot and your left thigh. And use that to get a little taller. One more breath. Growing wherever you want to grow. Then as you exhale, slide the right foot down. Do your little in-between dance. Inhale, reach the arms out, up, over your head, and then Samastitihi. Close the eyes for a moment. Root down a little bit more through your right foot now. Even if it means, or not even if it means, bend your knee a little bit. Find that push sensation with your right foot. And then start to let the left foot get a little lighter. Let it float. Like pushing so much. Let the foot go wherever it wants to go, wherever is manageable. And then find a push between the left foot and the right thigh. And when I bend my right knee a little bit, my base leg a little bit, I feel that access to that so much more than when it's locked out. Roll the shoulder heads back. Maybe play with closing the right eye first. Anchor that right big toe. 2 more breaths. Growing your branches, closing both eyes. Swaying in the breeze, whatever it is. And then start to float your left foot down. Inhale, open the heart, cactus the elbows, lift the gaze. Exhale as you fold, interlace your hands behind your back. Take a big chest opener. Fold forward. Straighten the elbows as much as you want to. When you're ready, release the hands. Take a halfway lift. Inhale. Step your left foot back as you exhale, just like we did before. Lizard lunge. Lower the back knee, lift the chest, lift the gaze. As you exhale, we're going to bring the hips back, so straightening the front knee. Lift and spread the toes. Now you're in half split, half Hanuman. Hands can be on blocks if you need. Take a breath. Then as you exhale, bend forward again, back into that lizard lunge. One more time, backwards. Right foot's in front, left foot's in back. Straightening the front leg, half Hanuman. And come forward one more time. Hands frame the front foot. We're going to heel toe the left foot over towards the right, coming into pigeon. If you know that your knees don't like pigeon so much, you're welcome to take figure 4 in your seat or on your back. Flex your right toes, anchor down through the back top of the foot if you are in pigeon, and try to get a little lighter through your fingertips. Inhale, open the chest, pull the shoulder blades, lift the chin, and then staying light in your fingertips, push through the right foot and start to lean forward. And then do that one more time. Inhale, lift, exhale, lean. If you have blocks around or really anything, furniture, stacks of books, you can put your elbows on them or your head or your hip. Find what, or underneath your chest. I also like this one a lot. But then I would want one underneath my head too. Also a beautiful counter stretch to how we spend most of our days. Spend most of our days with our femurs or thigh bones neutral. We're putting them in external rotation. Anytime that we can is a good balancing practice. Okay, 2 more breaths in this pigeon. And then in order to come up, we still want to find that connection with the ground. So start to push whatever you can into the ground, and then use your hands to come up. Tuck your back toes. Start to lift, and you can go all the way to wild thing if you want. Otherwise, just 3-legged dog. Lift that right leg, kind of shake it out. You can open the hip. You can take a vinyasa if you want. Make some big circles. Eventually, we're going to walk the feet back towards the hands, nice and slow. Take a halfway lift when you get there. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, close. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift, and then step the right foot back. Go ahead and lower your back knee. Hands inside the foot, so a little lizard lunge. And then as you exhale, your hips go back. Left knee straightens. Half Hanuman. Spread the toes. Flex them back towards your face. And then come forwards again. And backwards. Hands can be on blocks. Remember, if you can't reach the ground with this nice long spine, the blocks are helpful. We don't want to round here, because then that puts us in the back instead of the hamstring. There's always a target stretch. When you're ready, walk forward again. Heel toe your left foot over to the right so that you can come towards pigeon. And again, you have those same options, seated figure 4 or supine on your back. If you're okay and reclined for this variation of pigeon, start to push your left shin into the ground, flex your left toes, roll the shoulder heads back to lift the heart. And then as you exhale, keep that push and lean forward. Do it again. Inhale. Exhale, lean forward. Walk the hands to where you want them to land. And remember, use something to support. your head or your shoulders, your elbows, if the ground is far away, which for a lot of us it is. We don't want to not have that support, especially as we're cooling down, getting to our final rest. We want everything to be a little bit more easeful. Make the postures work for you, make the props work for you, make the practice work for you. It's not designed for you to work for it necessarily. The goal is for the practice to work for you, for your well-being, your healing. We're not healing so that we can do yoga. It's the other way around. Letting the yoga heal us. Couple more breaths here. Breathe into the hip, into the diaphragm, into the heart. And then start to push the ground away with your legs, especially that front one. Get lighter in the hands. Rise up, tuck your back toes when you're ready. Go all the way to three-legged dog. Open the hip, shake it out. Maybe wild thing if you feel called. Eventually, both feet on the ground. Baby steps to the top of your mat. Take a halfway lift. And then fold. Peace finger grip on the big toes, or you can slide the hands under the feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Wrap the elbows towards your shins. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Take a big breath in here. Open the mouth, exhale, let it go. Release your hands, halfway lift. Enough that you can lift your heels. You can use the block. Start to lower your hips in the toe squat. Press down into the ground so much that you can get lighter in your hands. Maybe lift the arms. Keep pushing the ground away. Find that activation in your legs. Don't just sit into it. One more breath. As you exhale, open the knees wide. Reach the hands forward so you can ease your way into your seat. Butterfly, big toes, or bottoms of the feet touch. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. One more breath in here. As you exhale, push into the feet, rise up, close off your knees, walk the feet forward, grab behind your thighs, take a big breath to lift your heart. And then as you exhale, start to roll down to your back, one vertebrae at a time. Once you get there, take your feet under your knees, a little bit closer towards your sits bones. As you inhale, let your heart float up just a little bit. And then as you exhale, press into your feet, lift your hips, bridge pose, finding whatever variation you want. You can stick a block under the hips. Or if you feel like wheel, you can go into wheel. And release the hands. Whatever you need. When you're ready to lower your hips, just so nice and slow. Or maybe they stay on that block for a little waterfall. You can also use your hands under your hips. We'll hug the knees into the chest. And then just take the feet straight up. Let the legs soften, the muscles soften. Let the head be heavy. Try to find a place to be where it doesn't require much work, much thought. It's just stacked. Close the eyes. If you have your hips on your hands, do a little scoop so you can lift them off. If you're on a block, bring your feet down, kind of lift so you can get rid of it. And then take happy baby, hands grab the bottoms of the feet on the outside edges. Find a little rock side to side. And start to bring the bottoms of your feet together. Knees go a little wider. Lengthen your spine. And then lower your feet to the ground. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Find your breath. Stay here, or when you're ready, you'll just slide your feet out. Take up space. Anchor the back of your head. Let your heart float up just a little so you can tuck the shoulder blades down. And then find a big inhale. Fill all the way to the top. Open your mouth, let it go. 2 more times like that. Deep breath in. Filling up with all the space you made with this practice. Open your mouth, let it go. One more time. Deepest, fullest breath in. Hold at the top. Hold. Hold. Let it go. Shavasana. Stay here as long as you can. Just witnessing the breath and the thoughts that come, and letting them wash away with each exhale. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's 10:54 now. If you can stay in Shavasana longer, please do so. If not, start to find little movements, slowly waking the body. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You the
I'll be
same.
here next week as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.